All right, so we have a couple of issues, just so you are aware. One of them is we had these logos in, and if you remember, we brought them in as SVGs into Photoshop, and then we export them. The problem with it, though, is that as we go to scale these, they will scale not great, even though they were SVGs, because it's still treating it as as an image. So it doesn't really see it that way. And even more of an issue than that is that if I select it, and you can see here where, like when I grab the text, I can change the color, right, and it works fine. If I grab the shape, I can change the that color, that works fine. Um, but this, if you try to change it, you can see it treats the bounding box that way. So it's not actually treating it as a vector. So therefore, we don't really have a lot of control over it. So we have a couple different options. We can either import our own custom or SVGs or AIs or whatever vector graphics, which if that's something you want to do, you can do. Some of it we will. So like this is a logo, but it is being treated the same way as this because they were both SVGs. So this I'm going to have to import manually so that I can use it. So let's do that first just so you get an idea. So I'm going to go ahead and import that. So I'll just do File, we'll import, and I'm going to go to where it is. So we're just going to do this logo and import, and there it is. And what you're going to notice is it will treat it because it was an SVG. AI obviously would also work. Is that I can go ahead and I can change the colors and I can scale it to whatever size makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Okay, so that's pretty good. All right, so there's one, right? But and if you want to bring in more custom ones, you can. And there's different places to find these. However, again, we can use plugins, and that's what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to go to my plugins. Yeah, come on, there we go. Go to my plugins, and I already have one. We want the icons for design. So I already installed it, but you can install it. So just hit on the plus again. And this time we're going to go ahead and you want to just search for icons. Oops, not icon, icons. And then you'll see there are a bunch of different ones on here, but I'm just going to go ahead and use this one here. I find that this one works pretty well. I mean, there's a 3 million plus. I mean, maybe that one's good. I don't know. But I was using this one before. So let's do get and install. But you can try other ones too. See if there's other interesting ones out there. You'll see there's just a bunch of stuff in here. Okay. Good. All right. So that works. So we'll just minimize that, hit install. You will see it pop open over here. So you're just going to click on it. And if you look, you hit this little twirly and you'll see it'll give you instructions for the different icons. Okay, so also this is where it's sampling from. If you know anything about web design, you'll know that some of these, like Awesome, is font Awesome, which is what we use in order to connect icons for web design. This is Google Material, which is similar to like Bootstrap. They have their own thing. There's some other ones here as well. I think Simple, I know. Anyway, this is where they're sampling from. So what we can do is go up here and you type in the icon name that you want. So one I'm going to need obviously is menu. And then you will see a couple different options and it will tell you where they're coming from. Okay. Now you might want to grab ones that are all the same. So that way you're not, if you're mix matching them, it might not look as good. So I'm just going to use the Google Material one. So I'll just click on the Google Material one. You can see it, put it right there. I'm just going to hold shift and expand this a little bit. It's kind of small. And then we'll just put it down here. And so there's one that I need. It's probably have to be smaller than anyway. So we'll say that that's fine. Another one I want is I would be nice to maybe have like a back button. So if you do back, you're going to end up with these ones, which I don't really like. Oh, that one's actually kind of what I wanted anyway. But they have these different back buttons, which I don't particularly think they're greatest. This one's actually okay. I'm gonna use. I like better chevron. So that's these style buttons. So I'm gonna use the material one, and we'll just do chevron left. And I'm gonna change the size here because the initial size is tiny. So I'll do 72, and chevron left, and there it is right there. I'm just gonna hold shift to make it a little bit bigger, and then we'll just put it right here. And if you need any other ones, you could add those as well. I'm trying to think, do I need any other ones? think we'll just go with that for now. That should be enough at least to start with. But you can look up, like cancel and whatever you think, shopping cart, or like PayPal, right? So here's PayPal's ones, cart. So here's like the different cart ones. If you have like a shopping app or something, um, you could look up different things. So we're just going to say that's good, and it will automatically make them for us right here, and then we can utilize them. So I'm kind of good on the plugins. Let's go back to my document assets, and I'll show you how we're going to utilize this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy here, and we're going to, he feels way too big. I'm going to make him smaller. I'm just looking down here to see what the size is and to get an idea of comparison here. So I'm just making sure I'm holding shift as I scale down. So that looks acceptable. This looks too big as well. I'm going to scale this down, just holding shift. That looks good. Scale this down, hold shift. We'll say like that. That looks acceptable. Now, if I want these all to be kind of in line with each other, you can select them all like that. And then up on the top here, I can align them. So I can line them by center, or we can align them to left. I'm just going to go ahead and do center. And you can do that with any element. So if they're like not lined up correctly, you can kind of do it that way, just so you are aware. Okay. Now I'm looking at this, and I had this dark color for that. So the dark color here is probably not going to work. So probably this light color. So I'm select this. I'll just click here. And now it's that light color, and we'll do that for the menu as well. Select this light color, and the back button, I'm thinking we'll also do that color, at least to start with. All right, so that's neat. That's good, and we can reuse these. But if I want to reuse them, it's better to actually just make them components. So I can do it one of two ways. I can hit plus here or hit plus here. We'll just hit plus here, and that will make it a component. And you can see it also shows up down there. And I'll grab this one, also make it a component, and then grab this one and also make it a component. All right. Now, what the components do, we can rename them too. I probably would if I was using them a whole ton. What the components do is this: is at any moment I can grab, let's say, this chevron off of here, and I can grab as many of them as I want, and it'll give me more and more instances. But what I want you to notice is when I have this selected, see how the little diamond is white? If you look at this one, see how it's dark? That's because this is the original. Anything I do to this one is going to happen to this one. So for instance, if I take this, I'm like, oh, I think it should be this color. Oops, hang on. I think it should be this color. That one will subsequently also change color. So it will populate the way down. So that's nice because if there's something we need to change, all the other ones will change. There's some other things we can do with components as well. So with this component selected, I can change the different states. So the states would be basically whether you're hovering, clicking, focusing, dragging. You can add more, but usually it's just those two really. You have the default state, what it looks like, whether you hover and whether you click on it. Or trigger. So what we're going to do is add a state to this. So I'll click on this, and we'll do a hover state, and we'll just say we'll leave it on hover. And then all you do is that anything that you change, it will change when you hover over it. Okay, so I'm going to say when I hover, I'm going to have it turn this green. So I'm on the hover state. See, right here. So we're on hover state. And all I'm going to do is just click on this, and that will change the color. Or you can click down here. Okay. Now, we'll select it again, and I'm going to hit plus again to add a toggle state. Okay. And I'll have it that when I'm actually clicking on it, we will have it. I'm on the hover state. I'll just do it this time, this way. We'll have it that when we're clicking on it, what color were we before? We were like the light, that color, right? So we'll just do this color, okay? So now, just to show you how this works, I'm just gonna make sure I'm in here, and if you hit Control Enter or you hit this play button, either way, it's gonna pop open this thing. Now watch. So this is the preview mode. We haven't really showed this yet. When I hover over it, and when I click on it, so when I hover, see how it turns into that color? And when I click on it, it turns into that color. So, and those are the states. Okay, so that's basically how it works. And I'm just going to do that to these two because why not? Because they're my menu items and such. And you can do more advanced things in this. I will show you some more advanced things in this, but this is just the start. So we'll just do that. We'll do a hover state, and in hover state, I'm going to have it turn to the dark green. And then we'll add another one, and we'll do a toggle state. And with the toggle state, we'll have it turn into this color. And I'll grab this one, hover state, green, this one, toggle state, that color. Okay. The other thing to be aware too, you might have noticed that when I first previewed it, you can also hit Control Enter. It's already in hover state, and I had to click to get it off. That's just because when I was on it, I left it in hover state. So I would just make sure you're back in default state. And then when I hit Control Enter, you'll see that it'll react right off the bat, which is obviously a bit better. And that way it will react the way that you want. Okay. So now we have these components. We have all of our various things here, and we're sort of ready to start making our designs. In the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this one so it's better, that it's a little more consistent with what my style is. And then after I'm done with that, I will we'll do our subpages.